said no. Okay, so he insists that I don't do it, but it could have been nice for those who are not here to. But anyway, so we're about to start, and let me call upon um, our our moderator for this session, Mr. Paul S. Wilo. Uh, so he has taken center stage.
Is this working? I need listen for it. Listen for it. Just go him out. I don't know where he is.
Listen for.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Listen for. Miss. Is it a Mr. or a she?
It can be anything. They, them. Yes, hi, Farai. I'm okay. How are you? Good. Hello. How are you?
All right, so we're about to start, and
Your name?
listen forward. If I'm correct, you are wanted here to come and take center stage as well as we begin the session.
Hello. I didn't get his name yesterday. Jason.
I'm sorry.
Yes, hi. We didn't get introduced yesterday.
I'm Jason.
Nice to meet you.
To meet you.
You're from Zambia or Zim?
I'm from Zambia.
Oh, okay. Okay, guys.
All
so
right.
Just a few of us. We can just move closer so that it's more.
I think you can just take it up, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. It's more intimate. It's not like a. You can just be here, so you don't have to be very far. Hi. Your name? Musaka. Musaka. You're from where? Zambia? Zim? Okay. All right. Nice to have you here. Okay. All right. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sure everybody's eating and having their lunch. So probably the time they'll be coming back will be winding up. I hope so. Uh, okay. So we are talking about, where's the, what are we talking about? New age of what? Yeah, new age of production techniques. So basically, well, I'm sure we can all understand something from those words, right? What can we understand from the terms new age production techniques? What can we get from there, Musaka? Exactly. Lovely, 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 lovely. So we're talking about the new techniques that have been introduced in filmmaking. I think before, well, any person who had a camera would shoot, and how the productions are looking now and how they look probably 10 years ago, there's a very, very much big difference, okay? A very, very big difference with how we're doing films now and how they were done before. Even in terms of like when you're watching, visually, acting-wise, production value-wise, there's a very gigantic difference between the two. And so I wanted to tell me, what are some of the things you can spot out that have changed throughout the course of time? This is like 2023. What are some of the things that have changed with time now that we are in this new age? Sound is a big one, exactly. Sound. Sound has really evolved with time. I think there's now more an understanding of what sound is about. What has changed about sound as compared to 10 years ago or probably 8 years ago?
Back to me.
Yes, back to you. Yeah.
Well, my personal opinion, and I think I can say this generally speaking,
Mm-hmm.
is people can forgive the visuals. If something is all visually, you can work around that, but sound just takes you out.
Oh, there's a mic there. Farai, can you pass the mic to him?
Sound just really pulls you out of the experience. And I think, I remember as a kid growing up and watching the Play for Today or Play Circle, I think it was called, and the sound is just so hollow, not good equipment. I think a lot of what has changed is just technology over the years, and our access to technology as well has made a huge difference. So just being able to get like a nice microphone,
Yeah.
and I think just the skill set, like where do you position the microphone to be able to capture the best sound, so you're not capturing all this ambient sound, and you're able to get a nice, rich, full sound. One thing that I noticed, I'll use the example of the production we watched last night. was the use of sound even to establish a character of an inanimate object. You know, so understanding sound design as well, I think, is very important, and how every little sound that you use is a part of the whole. It's part of the whole package. And I think we're starting to learn that and understand that versus just, you know, yeah, I've recorded you, let's go.
Yes. Which production did you watch last night?
Ingoda.
I thought that was today.
It's showing again tonight. Yeah. So, yeah. Advertisement plug. Showing again tonight. Go see it if you haven't seen it. It was excellent.
Yesterday you premiered it?
No, today. It was just.
But where did you watch it? There was a private screening somewhere?
Go see it.
Okay, guys. So we should make time to go and watch the premiere of Ngonda. I had a problem when Joe was telling me yesterday. What's the title? Anyway, yes, that. So basically, yes, Jason was right. Sound has really evolved with time. There's been a lot of changes in regards to the understanding, and it's playing a very vital role in terms of film making and technology. Just otherwise, we're talking about the technicality of film improving overall. And so we were at some point, anything you would record sound that would have a rumbling sound in the background, there'll be a wind, there'll be whatever, it still would go so long as you can see actors cry or maybe, you know, shout at each other. But then this time around, sound has a design now. So there's certain things you need to put together when you are on set. And so the new age production techniques they start from pre-production, production itself, post-production, marketing and distribution. And it also falls to what they were talking about much earlier when they were talking about how to use social media to sell, how to use brand, and how to probably market. You had the conversation yesterday with Yasmin and Oas and who else was there? I missed, I was supposed to be on the panel as well. Who else was there? HL, yes. So there it spoke about also distribution. So this is important because the global stage is changing. And we cannot remain behind as filmmakers from the African continent. And this is why, even with films you can watch now, or Netflix, or on Amazon from Africa, there's been a lot of improvement. It could be like too much at some point, extravagant overuse of production design, but then it shows to say people are starting to understand that a film wasn't just a film. It required so many things in order to make it work, in order to make it run, in order to make it sell. And these things now have become a mandate, especially sound. You cannot expect to sell a film with bad sound. Otherwise, it's going to remain in your laptop and you'll be watching with your cast and crew. Okay? Because this has become like it's very, very important. And so once we talk about sound and how burst sound has evolved with time is, we say, he spoke about recording, we recorded, before it was just dialogue. But now we need to record Foley, we need to do ambience, we need to do almost everything you're going to see in the background of that picture. They need to tell a story in a way. And so sound has played a very vital role in terms of what? Of the growth of the new era of filmmaking. And as we move past and go on forward as filmmakers, I think it's very, very important for us to understand, to say, we cannot remain behind. We need to move with the outside world. Because the stage now, Netflix is not going to look at your film as a Zambian film. They will look at the film as a film because they have other films every day that are sent to them from every part of the world that are going to be competing, and you just want one cell. And so for you to do that, you need to get the sound right. And it's true, sometimes we sort of just start to use, I think sound design has become like a very, well, in Zambia, we have a few, honestly. I think that you can count them, almost like 4 or 5 that are professional sound designers. Most of them are learning on the job, and so sometimes it shows, sometimes you say, okay, you're lucky. But then it has affected a lot of productions, and a lot of productions have stayed in the pipeline. They've not been out there or, you know, go on bigger platform because the sound was bad. You can have like a beautiful picture quality, beautiful actors, amazing story, but the sound was terrible, and the film just dies a natural death. Okay, so what's the other thing that has evolved? Yes, Benson? Exactly. That one is I think it's what has also been exaggerated. with also the new technology that has come in. Lighting before, it was just, yeah, we did know the 3-point, 2-point, whatever, use whatever. But then this time around, now they're more practical lights, and people are also using it for moods. They're using it for probably texture of color, to design how the set is going to feel, to give us more tone and more feel. And so lighting, yes, has evolved. I think those that watched Can They See Us, who watched Can They See Us? Yes, you'd tell that they use a lot of practical lighting. It was more of, they were using color palettes, and the color palette was, the lighting was contributing to the color palette of the film. And I think that has become a very important tool in filmmaking. And as we go on, more and more filmmakers are becoming more experimental. You find like somebody wants to use a green light in the house, if the danger is coming, they'll probably write it up red, maybe they'll use the moon for blue, and all of those things. I think all of those things are part and parcel of growth. But as we move forward, before it was just so long as we could see your face, so long as we could see you light up, and we can see you having a conversation. You could even be moving with a shadow behind you. There'll be shadows all over the place. Sometimes you'd even see shadows of crew people all over the place. But then now things are more advanced. We know to say, oh, this should be it. You could light up a character, halfway, and you could show power. And so now, even just certain incentives that have come with filmmaking techniques are also adding to storytelling, they're adding to acting. So I could say, oh, Farai is in Gonda, right? Yes. Were you the lead? Oh, okay. I didn't see you in the trailer. Or maybe you looked different. Yeah. You're the one with the hair? You had the hair in the film? I would love to see that. So it changes the hope. So you could light up a scene, and sometimes you'd want to show maybe a character that is devious or mischievous, and you can use lighting to communicate the personality of that character. It's also how you use that sometimes also to communicate maybe danger is coming. You can use lighting to say something is forthcoming, or you can use it to tell a shift in the story, a plot twist, okay, or your movie has got into a climax. You can probably change the lighting of the film as well in order to what? To probably, be there. Okay, so sometimes who's watched Parasite? How many of you have watched Parasite? I know Jason watched Parasite. Oh, nice, you've watched Parasite. You could tell how the lighting was changing as the film intensified. So every time the film was intensifying, he would change the lighting to fit the mood of the story. And so that is one technology that has really, really affected the film industry in a good way. It has impacted stories, and now that has become a requirement. For buyers to sell your story, they will look at all of those elements. They'll say, oh, this film is not, it was just shot for the sake of. And because most of the things, hi, your name? You can just move here, Sarah. So what we do is now we're talking about, oh, if they're going to look at your film now, they'll look at the lighting. What do they understand about the lighting? What was it? Did it tell a story? Was it compensating with the story they're telling? And so if you're not, and this is a thing, most of the time I think I've heard people say, but then a film was good. Why didn't it go far? Why wasn't it bought? Why wasn't it sold? That's because maybe you did poor lighting, and the lighting did not make sense. But then you thought the lighting was not going to be, yes, a factor to the buying, and you thought it's going to be the story or the acting. But then now, the lighting and the sound are now part and parcel of you selling your product. Okay? What else has changed? Farai. We spoke of light, right? Yes, right. We spoke about lighting, we spoke about sound. What else? Acting. I will get to the acting later. Let's talk about the technical part. Yeah. So cinematography. Yes. You want to say something else? Yes, now that is falling under the shooting style. Now we have like IMAX, we have the 4K, the 6K, 3D animation, all of those things. Why I can look at the cartoon and I'm thinking, oh, that's Kondwani. But it's not actually Kondwani, it's just a cartoon. So all of this is advancement of how things are growing as we move and go forward. You understand, right? So also shots. Yes, shots. I think cinematography, it has been, I think there's also that part where we say, okay, it's good. Again, we might be exaggerating it too much at some point with the movement shots, the motion shots. But then, yes, motion shots, gimbals, drones, what else? What else is there? for DOPs. So many things that you have on your set, and you'll be like, oh, probably when I move this camera this way, and it's going to show that we had gear. And yeah, there's a lot of gear talk now. Yes, let's just, move from here to while we're moving, we don't know, but then it just shows that we had gear on set. So it shows the level, like we invested in the equipment. And so gear as well has been a contributing factor to the growth and the technical advancement of the film industry at the moment, because we are now looking at the world. People are shooting in 4K, 6K. I think we never understand why 6K, why 4K, what is it? Who can explain what those things mean? Hi, yesterday I kept asking your name and you kept, I've forgotten again. What? Emmanuel, yes. What is it we get from when somebody says 4K, 5K, 6K, 2K? Just get the mic. Yeah.
Okay, from my understanding, I think it's resolution.
The resolution.
Yes. Okay, in my own simpler terms, first there was just the standard version, which is 480 by, I don't know the other number. Then there was the 720, then there was 1080. Then I think like when you exceed those numbers, that's when we get to the 4Ks and the 6Ks.
Okay.
So it affects quality or the number of pixels that maybe appear in a screen or something to do with that.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. That's really, really good. So him talking about the frames per second, the images sharpen. So as we go on, maybe if you're shooting in HD, I will look like I'm stuck to this thing. Okay? When you shoot in 2K, it will look like I've left the wall a little bit behind. When you shoot in 4K, probably you see me up close, like I'm very close to you. And when you shoot in 6K, you can see me, I've left now, the background and me are so far apart, and this is why there's been that enhancement in terms of like also cinematography. People want to do that because at the end of the day, the image looks much more beautiful, when you probably, and it looks well organized. You don't have a person looking like a cartoon, the camera sometimes that make people look so funny. But once they leave the background and you can still see, I can see a separation between Jason and that glass behind, then I'm doing something better. And with cinematography, I think with cinematography, a lot of people have invested in it, in wanting to understand that mostly. I think I see a lot of cinematographers these days, there's been a lot of understanding of what, dolly and whatever. But then as we also understanding these movements and the motions in story, we also need to understand to say the movements just don't happen. They just don't happen because, there's this thing that is going on right now, or people are seated. You need, for people that understand these technicalities, they'll think you're trying to tell them something. And so you need to know, why am I moving? Why am I moving this camera? Why am I doling in on the character? Am I revealing something? Why am I doling out of the character? Has some news been broken? Is this death? You need to know what you're communicating. It isn't just moving the camera. It isn't just moving equipment and doling in and whatever. No, there's supposed to be something you're communicating, something that you want the audience to know before it's taught to them. And so we need to know all of these technicalities. I think there's been a lot of usage of movement and gimbal, whatever, especially with cinema stories. I would think you're trying to tell me something, honestly. And I'll be like, what are they trying to communicate? And then the film ends with nothing, and I'm like, oh, I thought that was being communicated like that, but it's not the way it's been communicated. The good example of the usage of cinematography and color, I think, is Moonlight. Who's seen Moonlight? Jason, you've not seen Moonlight? Barry Jenkins?
Oh, yes.
Yes. The usage. You guys haven't seen Moonlight? Yes. You have?
Yeah.
Good. So you saw Moonlight and you saw how Barry uses color and cinematography to tell a story. Yeah. And so you would tell to say sometimes the camera will just be stuck up. It's because he's trying to communicate something. Yeah. And so he's not just going to move anyhow and just, that kind of a thing. And so with that, we also learn to say color and, that's lighting actually, and cinematography and sound. I think you'd hear, sometimes you would hear like a breeze like, whoo. but then the ocean would be very far from where the scene is happening. But he had his own understanding of why he was doing that. And those, after his breaking down, you'd get to understand, say, oh, this is why this was used. Okay? What else has changed throughout the course of time? Yes. Visual effects, yes, that has become a very important aspect to story. You know, heads being chopped off, cars bashing, and, you know, whatever it is. But then also, you need to get, I think this is still a problem, honestly. It's still a problem because, well, I can tell. A lot of films that I've watched, even a lot of Nollywood films I've seen on Netflix, even just gunshots just sounds like a joke. Yeah. Yes. It looks like, yes, it looks like a joke. You can even tell an actor is probably, you're swinging a gun as if you're holding a machete. Yeah. What? Yes. And so with visual effects, I think there's still more work. There's supposed to be, I think people still need to do more when it comes to visual effects. And I think we have sort of, there's been an improvement, but then I feel like people sort of, there's also a bubble. Just because I can show blood oozing from somebody's mouth in editing and then I think it's working. It can look like a joke when people are watching it. And so it's very, very important as well to say, how can we improve visual effects of storytelling? I think for me, I love how Indians do it. Yeah, the graphics are good. They look so, you know, well done. They look very polished in a way. Hollywood is doing great as well. Which film do they do great on? But I think, yeah, for the actions ones, it's pretty much great. So also, you know, like you need to know, I think these are things you need to plan in pre-production. What story am I telling, first of all, and is it going to require visual effects? And remember also visual effects is where even makeup comes in. You know, and so you need to understand what type of makeup am I going to need for this film. Is there at some point I'm going to need to show maybe, you know, a 12 Years a Slave kind of arrangement, you know, where Peter Nyong'o is whipped and the back is almost, and then we see her back, we're like, hey, all that screaming was for what? Was for nothing because we can't see it. And so all of these have become like part and parcel of the show do not tell kind of arrangement, because sometimes I just need to feel the intensity of a scene without an actor expressing how intense it is. If I see it, I will not even care about your performance. It's just going to traumatize me. You understand? And this is why we're saying, even as with producers and directors, we need to understand the visual effect of storytelling. So, for example, if I want to say, like I was given an example, let's look about Emancipation, Will Smith, right? In Emancipation, we saw how the way the makeup, the visual effects were well done. The makeup artist did a good job. But he looked like almost every time you'd see him caught, his face, his body, and just everywhere will look so, his skin also look a little bit, so even before the actor gives a very amazing performance, I already buy into it because they look like they're caught. You understand, right? So all of these are contributing factors to an amazing performance. So there's visual effects, we spoke about sound, lighting, we spoke about cinematography. Cinematography is wide. I think we would talk about it all day, honestly. What else has improved with time? Cinematography, yes. Jason, you said something earlier with the actors.
Yeah, I think acting.
Do you want to share more? Farai, can you pass the mic? Yeah, let him tell us more about the acting, how the acting has evolved with time. Hi, Augustine. How are you? Nice, nice. I'm good.
I think that with acting, we are getting to a point where we're getting into the reality of a character.
Yes.
And I think we're also understanding because of the technology, we're understanding the technology more and how that also works in collaboration with the actor. I think back in the day, everything was just so over the top and so big. And we were just having a conversation about this, how the camera is a lens into your soul.
Why are you giving us too much?
It's right there. And so sometimes less is more, or depending on, you know, part of the story. I think we were talking about the new age of production and technology, but going back to what doesn't change is just the base of a good story. You can have these big special effects, and I don't care because I'm not invested in the character.
Yes.
So I think that's part of what is changing, and I think there's still room to continue to grow in that talent. It's a talent and it's a craft because it's something that can be learned.
Lovely.
Acting is very special, and we can train and we can teach, but we need to be open to that development as well. But I think it has changed and it has gotten better because it's not just about being dramatic and over the top. It's about, hey, what am I conveying, and what is this person really going through, and what am I really feeling, and really taking time to break down a character and understand that process as well.
Beautiful. That's good. Thank you. You want to say something?
But just to add on what he's saying, also just the pacing of movies over time has changed. You know, years ago, movies would be so slow, and also because of technology, but just watching old movies, it's just so slow. But because the world has become a fast world, everything is like right on top. You know, movies have developed in such a way that things are happening so fast, but you're also able to keep up.
Yes.
Like dialogues are not 20 minutes dialogue. It is more about how the actor is just giving the visual. It's like what he's saying, just right up to there, you know. One of the things he mentioned and we were talking about was how one of the scenes yesterday, the actor doesn't say so much, but you just kind of get what is happening.
What were you watching yesterday?
Maybe let me use Can You See Us? When when you watch Can You See Us, right?
Yes.
When the parents die, they just show you that very little clip, but it has so much emotions behind it.
Yes.
You don't have to see what happened to them, but you want to cry at that moment.
Yes. That's true. That's really, really true. I agree with both of you. I think because I'm more of an acting coach, and I'm more about a performance director. I think most of my films are about performance. Technology comes in later after being somebody who understands it better. But then I'm more about the actors. I believe in a good story. I believe in performance. And I believe if the actors are good enough to keep us glued, I'll forgive a bad shot. I think the audience will forgive a bad shot. In regards to performance, I think Jason is right. Now it's become easy. You know, we now understand that it's not acting for acting, because throughout the years, acting was more about an understanding you had in your mind, and so you came on set with this thing where you wanted to just perform. It was about performance, but then now it's about living an experience. It's about finding truth. So what is the truth that is in this performance? What is an experience I'm living? And as you dive into that as a character, sometimes the over the top is not necessary. What do we need it for? What do we need you screaming, probably going all diverse? Because the camera is over here and you're screeching your face, and literally I'm watching and I feel disturbed. Not because you give me a good performance. I feel terrified. I'm feeling a headache. I'm like, how did he manage that for 2 minutes? I'm getting a headache. It's because sometimes it wasn't necessary. And I remember 2 days ago we were watching a film, I think at New Metro. And because the camera was so close, the performances that we had watched before, I think we screened this film at some point, just on the monitor, and it was good. But then when we were watching it, I remember a friend was like, "What does it look over the top? Like, why are they overacting?" I was like, but then before, when you watched it, this was already good. It was like, I don't know, there's something very off about their faces and too much. And so I feel like because we're no closer, we have lenses now. If you go back to cinematography, if you're doing maybe a close-up, in a close-up, I will see everything. Yeah. And so you will not lie to me. Yeah. If it's a lie, it's a lie. You will not lie to me. But then it's become like, in the course of time, actors, I don't know what happens at that point. Maybe it's a fear of just not doing nothing, when doing nothing is actually what it's about. You understand? So there's a fear of not doing nothing. So you feel like, if I'm going to go in a production and I found all the, and there are all these big names, okay? I can say, oh, Hogasin is part of it, Kundwani is part of it, Benson is part of it. And I feel like, oh, I've been coached to go and act. And now I feel like, but then I'm not doing much. I'm just doing nothing on the story. And these guys are saying and speaking and doing whatever they have to do. I'm scared. I'm at this point, I'm like, I don't think this is good enough. I need to put in more. And this is where actors lose it. So now you start acting for acting, instead of acting in living truth. And so you need to realize to say, as we are advancing with technology, there are certain things that were probably regarded as great 10 years ago. They're not anymore. They're not anymore because we've changed. And so you would be like, somebody would be like, God, Mahershala won an Oscar for that role in Moonlight. He was just doing nothing. Yes, that was a job. He was paid to do nothing. He was paid not to, because now you think what was working 10 years ago, 20 years ago, of how maybe Al Pacino would do his monologue and go over the top. I am the devil's advocate! And it would win him, and you feel like Mahershala did not do that, and you're like, and he won an Oscar for that. Now people are understanding. So there's an advancement, it's coming, and reality. People want to see realism in performance. They want to relate. Sometimes even when you're watching a film, I've watched films with my grandma and she's like, no, they're overdoing this. This is too much. It's because now people know. People know. But then again, don't be there and don't do anything, honestly. It'll be terrible. It'll be terrible to watch again. And again, we'll be saying, why were they there and then not doing anything about this whole thing? You understand, right? And so we have an importance. We need to understand to say, these lenses that are brought to us, they're brought for a reason. And then this is why we even tell actors need to know where your camera is standing. Even how you stand on camera now is part of your acting, it's part of your performance. And so actors need also to understand that they're part of the growth of the new age of filmmaking. They need to understand to say the technical aspect and everything technical that has advanced, they're part of that growth. They need to know, how do I stand? How do I look at a character? For example, if I'm looking at him over here and my camera is there, I'm not going to do this because I'm hiding from the camera. At the end of the day, it's the audience home that need to see your what? Your performance, okay? Only when it's necessary. But all the time, play for the camera. And so you need to understand that as an actor as well. Also, blocking has become one of the things you need to do as an actor. You need to understand, how am I blocked? From there to here, what am I doing? You find that an actor will start from there, come to the side, they've forgotten the character. Well, they're getting to here, they're in a whole new character. Then you're like, oh, the character has changed? It's still the same film. It's just 3 minutes ago we saw you in this whole, and then the character is changing. I think it's become like a very an important aspect. Especially for actors in this age and era, you need to understand to say, you need to understand the film objective of your character. The objective of your character is very, very important. The other thing is, how do I stand on camera? How do I look at people on camera? And I was saying, this is when it's coming here anyway. Yeah, so that's the whole thing. So this is what happens. So as we're moving with time, actors also need to understand that acting is changing. Acting is changing, and now people are going for the more natural, because people are tired of the monotonous. They're tired of over the top, like he said. It's over the top. Like, why are you pushing the agenda too much? We get it. We get it. Don't worry, we get it. And this is why we have a camera that is going to compute. Who's watched No Country for Old Men? Okay. Kondwani? You should watch No Country for Old Men. I was watching No Country for Old Men. The first time I watched it was recommended by Lungano Nyoni. And I watched the film and I was like, Jesus, this guy is probably doing nothing, but he's the most scary guy I've ever seen on TV, on the big screen, in the cinema. I would not see him grow his face, cringe, or probably pull up his muscles in a way. Just him standing there, and he was like, toss the coin. And I would get creepy. I was like, oh man, what is he going to do? Is he going to kill this person? And he was like, why should I toss? And the lady was like, I don't want to toss. Just toss it. Toss the coin. I'm like, but he was the most scary psychopath I've seen on television. Not even Joker, because Joker would know what's coming when he starts getting delusional and over the top. I'll know that Joker is about to kill you. But then how that character sort of just makes me feel so scared. I would be like, what's going to be happening? And this is what acting has become. Because now it's closer. He understands to say the camera is just over here. So I don't need to push the whole agenda to be scary. Already, if he's going to walk in the room, right, I can see his beak, his toe. He doesn't have to push the agenda of being scared. I'm not. That's the physique. I can see that he's got a big physique. So why do I need to, he needs to act in his way, bridge, and do whatever, and show me his muscles for me to be scared. He can just say, where's the money? And I'm going to be like, in the bedroom, can I get it? Because that's because we can see the physique. And so also the physique has become like an act on its own. People are acting with physiques now. It's like, I want to stand in a certain type of way. Hello, baby. So that's the whole thing. We can see that somebody is already big enough, and so we don't need to overemphasize on physique and all those types of things. What's the other thing that anybody to add on to the acting side? Yes, Jason.
I just want to say really quickly too is I think actors sometimes, if you have a small role or small role, there's this, well, it's not a big part, so nobody's going to care or nobody's going to see. And I think there have been countless examples of actors who came on for just a second, but that's the tagline that we remember. So what you do with that character, it doesn't matter if it's your number 1 on the call sheet, your number 20. You've really got to take the time to, who is my character? What am I doing with this? And figure out a way that even in 3 seconds of film, you stand
I'm going
out.
to be noticed. Exactly.
You're going to be noticed. And one good example, I think, Brad Pitt, I'll use, Thelma and Louise, he had a very small part. That was his breakthrough role. Very small part, but what he did with that character, everybody remembered that and launched his career from
Yes.
There's no such thing as a small role.
There's no such thing. Yeah, that's true. And the other thing, the other example is Viola Davis in Doubt. Viola came for about 10 minutes, and she was nominated for an Oscar. 10 minutes! Over 2-hour film. People were there for, I don't know how long, but then she was there for just a short period of time, you know, but you were able to feel that she was present, she was in the moment, okay? The other character, Annie Hathaway, in Les Miserables, she won an Oscar for just being 30 minutes of part of the film, when others were there for like 2 hours plus. The only actress who was nominated from a film, 2 hours plus, for Best Supporting Actress, and she won an Oscar for that. And so sometimes what Jason is saying is every role you're given is important. Every role you're given contributes to the story. I remember that I was watching Michael Caine. Michael Caine was talking about in his coaching session, acting coaching session, he said the first time he was cast in a film, he was put behind the lead actor. And so he was just waiting for a paycheck. He was waiting for the money. So he was standing there and just waiting for them to say action. He would just stand there, and after action, they pay him, was going to go home. And so the director saw, so that, you know what, we have monitors, right? So the director was like, there's an extra who's not in this moment. He doesn't even care about this film, honestly. And then they called him and they're like, hi, you. And he said, yeah, me? What are you doing? Where? Like on set, behind there, what are you doing? And he said, I'm an extra, I'm just here. You know? And the director was like, you're an extra that is doing what? What is your motive of being, and what is happening on set? Why are you in this crowd? And he said, well, maybe I'm supporting this guy who's probably making a speech about revolution. And he said, then look like you're supporting this guy who's making a speech about changing certain things. And he was like, oh, okay. I didn't know I was supposed to do. I thought I was just supposed to do and then stand here to fill up the set because it's a background and get paid. They were like, no. Can you contribute? Even an extra has an objective. Even a small cameo role, you have an objective to the story. Even just standing in the background, if you're in disagreement with what I'm saying, and the character, and they see, they will know to say, oh, 5 characters, extras in the background of where Jason or probably Farai or Kundran were standing, they were against this notion or this idea. And so there is no small role. Every role is as important as the lead because they all contribute to storytelling. And remember, at the end of the day, we are telling a story. It's all story, okay? The other thing that has evolved with time is also, before, acting was more about just what is happening in the scene. Okay, quickly, somebody just get, oh, I'm upset. What kind of upset are you? Before, people would just get upset. Oh, sorry, I'm speaking Yanja. Now I need to get angry. And so they'll just get angry, you know, throw things around. Why you? I'm watching and I'm like, I'm not even seeing the sense of why you're throwing things around. You understand, right? But then now we want to understand why. What type of upset are you? I could be in this notion and I'm saying, I hate you, while smiling. It's like, I don't hate you as I hate you. And you'd be like, and you see, like, almost all the time, if there's a line that people always, a lot of amateur actors I've seen this in a lot of Zambian productions and also some other productions from out there, is how dare you? This word just, how dare you? But then what's the content of the scene? What's the scene objective? What's the scene objective? What is the how dare you? What is it supposed to mean? How is it being said? What is supposed to, the I love you I'm going to say, or I miss you, or it's good to see you. It could be sarcastic. I could say, it's good to see you. I don't even mean it. And so we need to understand as well as we move with time, the scene objectives of our characters. Overall objective, I would say, who's watched Brother? Brother is, yeah, you've watched Brother? Jonathan, you've not watched Brother? Brother, the one with these two black Canadian boys. It's new. It's from Canada. Okay, so Brother is about these two brothers that probably have encountered a tragedy of their father leaving them at some point. And just, you know, the daily, struggles that we go through as black people, and in a way. And when I was watching the film, I think somebody said, I don't know if it's Kundwani or I don't know, another friend that said, for the first time you'd watch a black film that you would not say it was black. It was just acting. It was just acting. Because if there's one thing that is universal in this world, is an emotion. There's emotion, I'm not going to say me being over the top is a Zambian emotion. No. I've been in rooms where a parent is going to break news of probably a parent that has died. And they're not going to go like, your father. No, they would tell us nicely. And this is the realism we're talking about in performance and in storytelling. So almost all the time, these things are exaggerated. I remember the time I watched August Osage County. It had Meryl Streep and Julia Roberts and other A-list actors, Benedict Cumberbatch. And the time that the dad went missing, he started with his VO, and he was saying about how it was living in the small town, and his wife was toxic, and his kids were and he was packing books. And immediately he packed his book, his last book, he sort of moved out. He was still in the flame, and the DOP decided to dolly out of the scene. That's the last time we saw him on our scene. The next thing that came, they told us that he was what? He was dead. This is why they decided to dolly out, because life was leaving the flame. You understand, right? So cinematography as well contributes to characters. They contribute to enhancement. They contribute to what are we telling. And so it's quite important. There's a film that was very silent. The Shape of Water. Who's watched The Shape of Water? The Shape of Water. It was the most amazing film to watch because it didn't have people speaking the entire time. You know, Sari Hawkins did an amazing job because she was supposed to fall in love with this thing underwater. And this thing wasn't talking, right? And so one thing I learned from that film is that sometimes we overuse dialogue. Yeah, dialogue is not storytelling. Dialogue is not acting. Actors always believe, I need to speak. No, what am I doing here? I need lines, I need to speak. All the time you have this on set. Every time. Me, I just have 2 lines. Why? This one is speaking more, eh? Acting is not speaking. Sari Hawkins was in a 2-hour film and she was playing a disabled, she wasn't speaking. But then she grew us with performance because she knew that emotion was much more important than sound. It's about showing and not telling. It's about making us feel. The first thing an actor needs to learn in this new technology is that you need to make me feel before you speak. I need to feel you when I look at you. I need to see that you're depressed before you say, I am depressed. I need to see that you are in love before you say, I love you. Because when you say it and show it, I see, and you're saying it, and I'm like, oh, he's in love? Then I'm confused as a viewer. You're not supposed to confuse me. Only in cases where maybe the story requires that. Only in cases where maybe the director wants it to be a mysterious whatever it is. But then almost all the time, there is no emotion I would want to receive. And I always tell people, there's no impression without expression. I'm not going to impress anybody if I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to be like, yeah, so this presentation was just about, most of the time, acting, and we're just learning about the new techniques in production and how it's going. Yeah, that's it. I'm not going to engage with you people. And it's the same thing with acting. You're engaging with, and this is a thing the actors make. They think they're engaging with crew here in this room. No. You're engaging with 20 million people out there. 40,000 people out there. Let Lee come in also talk about also that.
Thank you. I just want to contribute on what you've just said when it comes to actors thinking they're engaging with, but you see, from the actor's aspect, I've learned throughout the years that it's very key to create your own triangle. So there's the person you're acting with, and then there's those people that are outside the audience, millions and millions of people. And the biggest mistake that we have sometimes is we want to outshine the person that you are with for the purpose of people that are outside. But you forget that the moment you're acting with this person, it's literally is like standing in front of everyone that is watching. So people react to how you do the dialogue with the person that way because they feel they stand in the gap or in the space of that particular person. So as a new way of performing and acting and bringing all these emotions and whatever it is that you need to do, it is very, very key to understand that it's not just about you, but also the person that you are with and the person that is not there, the invisible character that you are with. Another technique that has helped a lot of people, and in my classes most of the time, I teach about quest characters. I think these are things that we've not taken into consideration a lot as actors, even as directors. You see, they'll put a prop on set, let's say a bottle of water there. And just because you are the one acting, you forget that the bottle of water is also a character. It's there to act. So you need to engage with that character so that it's believable. There's obviously a way you pick a bottle of water, and just because you're acting now, it's like, they need to see that I'm drinking. You are disrespecting the character that you are performing with. So as a new style of performing, you need to understand that everything around you. I've seen actors. Well, maybe I'm one of them as well. You're going to watch me and say, oh, but this guy was talking about, but yeah, because we are learning every day. They'll put you in a space, right? There's a window there, the chairs there. You're seated, as a new technique of acting, you should never be separated from your environment. No. We've seen movies where you see someone there on set, but it doesn't feel natural. Like, you've seen movies where, this is home really? Because it doesn't. It's your bedroom. You go there. You're at the edge. You are like that's the character you're there. Engage with that character and build something. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to contribute towards that.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's a very, very important point. We've been told we're almost winding up. Sorry. But there's a lot to talk about. We're just halfway in. Okay. So the thing is, you cannot react from what's not there. As an actor, you cannot react from what's not there. Because what Leah said is very true. Actors don't know that they need to even have a technique. They don't even know that they need to research about performances. They don't know. For them, it's camera on. What am I putting on? This costume. What am I going to do? Okay, these are my lines. I'm out. But then there's a story. There's an emotion with the lines. What am I saying? What is hidden underneath these lines? The underneath, I'm going to kill you. What is hidden? This. When you understand the technique you're using, it becomes much easier. And so what has become, actors' performances sort of feel individualized these days. It's about, I will give the best so that he sees it and says, you killed it, man. But then once I'm with him on set and I'm trying to outshine him, I'm not responding from his emotions, then my performance is as fake as him not even acting at all. He will look like if he's even a better actor than you do because you are being over the top when he was just probably not understanding. So you need to come to terms to understand, to say there is no reaction without an action. There is no reaction without an action. And so I cannot respond from an emotion that has not been given. Then which means I am acting from without. I am acting from without because performances are meant to be truthful. They're meant to connect. And so I need to watch these performances and I'm with you on set. We need to feel like you're indeed my brother. And I'm talking to you. Okay? And this is why I always tell actors, understand the power of substitution. I could have a problem with you in real life, Once I'm on set and I'm told, oh, Mr. Makumba is my dad, right? And I'm looking at him, and Mr. Makumba and I probably don't get along, but yeah, we get along so well. Yeah, but then I'm looking at him, and this is us on set. And then I'm like, if I'm not going to separate myself from the character, it's still going to show. Sometimes they'll bring you a stranger. In 2 minutes, I'll have a stranger come in and say, oh, this is going to be your brother. I don't know the guy that has walked in. And TV does that most of the time. Okay? I don't know him, like, oh, hi, where are you from? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh, action. We're starting in 2 minutes. And I have this dialogue that I need to speak to him like I'm speaking to my brother, and I'm advising him. And I'm saying, listen, I have a power to substitute. Because actors are supposed to use experiences we've had in our lives. And this is why we're saying, as an actor, you need to be open to a lot of experiences. Because you're a performer. You need to know people. You need to know lives. Live different lives. Understand different people. Chat. Be curious about the environment. And so when I sit and I'm talking to him as my brother, I will imagine I'm talking to my brother home. And I will feel connected to him, because that emotion that I feel inward about my brother Mark or Gerard, it's real. It's not fake. It's coming from a place of truth. It's coming from a place of experience. You understand, right? Let's talk about something. I think we have like 5 minutes. We can rush on and talk about production design, which is a major thing that has really become part of the new age production technique. It's part of a technique. I think it has evolved too much with time, that at some point it has become exaggerated as well. I think this information is good as well, knowing that we are growing, but at some point I feel we might be ruining productions by over decorating, over painting, over crowdstelling. You look at the production, and there's this production I was watching on Netflix. It's so good. But then I was looking at the production, I was like, was this like let's just throw money around kind of production? Like, let's just, we show that we had everything, cars, glasses, chandeliers were swinging on people's faces. When I was like, oh, is it necessary though? Sometimes. So production design is an important aspect to story. When you look at a character, it contributes to what sells. If I look at him and I know what he does, he's a lawyer maybe, or maybe he's a police officer, or maybe he's a journalist. We need to see that when we walk into his house. You need to see that when we walk into it. And this is why most of the time people were like, they didn't even talk about him being, they didn't no, they didn't tell you. They showed you that he was a football player. He doesn't have to say, oh, as a football player, like even I've won a lot of awards, 4 or 6 awards at the same time. There's no need for that. Because technology of film casts all that dialogue out of the script. The technology of that film, if I'm going to look at him seated here and I can see 3 medals behind him, I will see that as a football player, he's very brilliant. And those medals that he won. If somebody is a model, Musaka is a model, we see her room. Before she's standing there in a room, we see her background. We'll be able to tell, to say, oh, there's probably pageants, whatever. She has like pictures of other models, Miss Universe and whatever. I'm able to tell a story. And this is why we're saying creativity has advanced. And so we need to understand, to say, with production design as well, there's an important aspect to storytelling. There's an important aspect to storytelling. Colors of characters as well. What color is Chakuti? What color is Augustine? What color is Farai? Okay, Jonathan? You understand, right? There's some people that... what color were we putting on yesterday? Your shirt. Gray. Are you always a white person closer to... You try. That could probably go with his personality. You understand, right? Lee likes it artistic. He's more into dull colors, grays, the charcoal greens, the whatever. It also shows to say he's got a personality. So color create personalities of the characters that you have in the script. And so when we look at that, in the modern day technology of storytelling, if I'm able to look at you, I should be able to tell this character is going through something. This character is in pain. If you look at Becky's color, look at her dress. I can tell she's an artist. Look at the color. You can see the hair. She's colorful. She's a colorful artist. And so I'm able to tell, to say, this character is like this. You would tell and watch a film and you're like, oh, that was a character? We didn't see that. To pick up on an actor, kasi ni bad actor. Sasa venenzo chita. Nakala nemo makangiwa. Seti nawe yakangiwa. Director never kangiwa. At the end of the day, it's a disaster. Okay? So production design has become part and an important aspect to contributing to storytelling. It's become like an asset for you as a director, as a producer, as a writer to know. And these days, even when you're writing, I think Becky has been writing for a very long time. For TV, and she's done it for cinema as well. She'll tell you to say, even when you're writing a script, you already start to have a look. Because I want him, as an executive producer, when he reads and sees the script, he's going to visualize. If I'm going to take it to Leo as a director and he reads the script, he should be able to see what I was trying to do in my mind. And so he's going to visualize the place, the costume of the characters, the prop, like Lee said. All of those, I've been told, okay, I'm just winding up. 1 minute. Yeah, so production design has become an important aspect to storytelling. Costume, prop as well. I always tell people, prop is part of performance. Especially in cinema, there's an emphasis where, if Lee talked about it the first time, where you walk into a room, and I'm sitting in my house, and I'm at the edge of a bed, at the corner. Oh my God, our beautiful bedroom. You don't see your bedroom every day. I'm at the edge of a seat. I can't sit comfortably. And anybody who's going to look at me can tell to say, you understand, right? And so I love what Jason said. Actors need to be part and parcel of the environment. You need to look like you're part of it. You need to look like you were not brought in to perform or brought in to deliver. You were brought in to grow, and that it's you when we look at you. And Lee spoke about it as well. We're saying, yes, you understand that kind of a thing, right? And so all of those things come with your understanding to say, as I develop as an actor, I should learn about these techniques. There are a lot of techniques out there, you understand, in regards to performance, that you need to know. Which one am I following? Which one am I doing? Which one? Understand the environment, and there's always understanding also circumstances of you as a character. Where am I coming from? So he's spoken about production design. What else are we talking about? He's telling me like, oh, okay. Yeah, I think, let's wind up. Jonathan, we can add on your last words in regards to the new age of production. We talked about IMAX, 4Ks, whatever. You can just say something about it. Then Becky can say something. Leo can say something. Mr. Makumba can say something. And then we can close. And then Jason and Farai. Yeah, let's go into Augustine. I think he has something to say. So quickly. Contributions. Let's go. Jason, you're having my mic. Who's having it? Yeah. No, you're going to close. CT. This is your mic.
I'm trying to be resourceful.
It's fine. It's for the
Okay. So I don't
to go around and be a nice
asked me to
guy.
contribute. I really love the thing you said about production design, and I think I've obviously watched a lot of Zambian films. I've seen that's something that has been lacking for a very long time, and maybe just to add on, I think the production design adds to how engaging the audience can, how your audience can engage with your film as a whole. I don't know if they call it the mise en scene, maybe.
Yes.
Yes. So, yes, everything in the frame, everything sort of works together as one unit.
Yes.
It's like an ecosystem. So yeah, definitely for me, that's the biggest take, and I think I will focus more as a new filmmaker to.
I'm sorry to stop saying that.
No, I'm saying new filmmaker. I wasn't aspiring filmmaker. By the way, don't say aspiring filmmaker in front of Paul Wilo. That is, it's a trigger. So yeah, I'm saying new filmmaker now. I've changed the terminology. Okay. Yes. So yeah, I think that's something I want to focus on a lot more, so that I can also build my stories in a way that they're very engaging, just from what you see on screen, before you even get to the dialogue and so on. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jonathan.
Okay.
Farai?
What do I have to say? So I would say if we less dramatize performances and stick to film, we'll be okay. And understand what film is. That's the first thing.
That's a very
And how we shoot. Yeah.
good. Thank you.
I think I would just say I'm excited. I'm excited that we're open to these new ideas, these new concepts. We're starting to adopt them, and I'm just very excited to see where we are able to take and get involved in this industry. It's personally been a part of my life all my life, and I'm passionate about it, and I just love that we're growing, and it's exciting. So I'm excited.
Thank you, Jason. You can pass it on to. I think you have something to say as well. Then you can pass it to Augustine.
Augustine must say something.
No, no, you should say something. Even that is something.
Well, I think I really don't have anything to say, but this has just been so very insightful, and I think it's so beneficial. I think I've learned so much, and yeah, I can see how we can become the best of us, even as an industry in Zambia. I think this is just, there are some things that, like he gave an example of how the water is part of the, is acting too, and when he just said that, my mind just went straight to some of the performances where I've seen somebody trying to dramatize how to pick what. I'm like, we don't do that. Like, that's not what we do. That's not, I can't relate with that. Like, he is overacting, you know? And that was just so practical, and thank you so much.
Can we get that with this mic?
See, I told you I should be going around.
Maybe I can sit with you here. I really don't have much to say, but just glad that meetings like this are opening our eyes. Doesn't matter how long you've been in the industry. I also love it that we are moving away slowly from the way we used to do film where, okay, so you're man and wife. Yeah, okay. The way, let's just, oh, but what are they supposed to be doing? Okay, give the woman knitting. Yeah, so I love it that you're talking about the things that are on set are part of characters. Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Simukoko?
You know you don't want me to say something. No, I'm actually giving no, it's not happening. Well, if you want me to say hi, I'm going to say hi. But I want to say nothing. You know, big artists like us, we just joking, but I came in very late, so here to learn, and I'm glad to be here. So Becky gonna say something.
What? I'm quite disappointed with you, Leo. Like, you're one of the biggest talents this country has seen, and quite privileged to have casted this guy, and you made my show work. Yeah, he's a great talent, guys. I'm humbled by the talent that is within this guy. Very versatile actor. Do we have producers in here? Do we have producers in here? Very versatile actor.
Off topic, guys.
Very versatile actor. So when you're looking to produce and you're looking for somebody to to give your character life, this is the direction to look. And Paul, I'm so humbled to see you seated there and passing on knowledge.
Thank you.
I'm so humbled because I know how far you've come, and to see like the great achievements that you have achieved. Yeah, super humbled.
Thank you.
And the only contribution that I'm gonna give, like most of the time I'm giving contributions, I actually I harness it to our industry, like the weaknesses that we have in our industry, the opportunities and the strengths that we have. So looking at the subjects that you've been tackling, I'm going to look at things that I feel like we could work on, that you have emphasized, and this was a very lucrative workshop, is production design. Very important. Production design is a project maker or project breaker. And I think like it's one of the things that we actually underestimate in our industry. We do not invest in production design, and as a result, is you can't tell the tone of the project. You can't tell the theme. You can't tell the truth that the filmmaker is trying to scream. Okay, so and one aspect, like when people hear production design, they only look at it from a production perspective, but creating tone, mood, and everything starts even at script level. I personally create a mood board whenever I'm writing. Like, writers need mood boards. A mood board that gives us the feel of the story. You should be able to have, every writer when you're writing, you have pictures in your head of what you feel your world looks like. Okay? It might be a coming of age themed story, but coming of age, what pictures am I looking at when I'm looking at coming of age? I'm looking at the 21st century. I'm looking at tech-savvy youngsters. I'm looking at youngsters that are exposed to a lot of knowledge because of social media, because of internet and everything. And so my world, when I'm looking at a mood board, I'm looking at a girl with a nose ring, because I saw one on yours. Yeah, I'm looking at a girl with a nose ring. I'm also looking at girls that have I'm looking at people that have vast information. And so if I'm forming an interaction between a mother and a daughter, I'm looking at a coming of age of youngsters who I'm not going to tell them, oh, when a boy hugs you, you are going to get pregnant. I'm definitely talking to a generation who knows most morning after pill. I'm talking to a generation who knows pull-out game. I'm talking to a generation, and so you need to create a mood board and understand what world your story is set in.
Thank you. That's so Becky. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. So I think everything has been said, from set designing to... Yeah, I think everything has been said, from set designing, understanding the world of the story that helps you to create proper come up with good set designing and all that. In terms of performance, we've talked about, just to summarize, we've talked about, sometimes you don't need to actually say things, you can just show. We say less is more in film, and more is less in theater. So you can't just be brr, brr. Sometimes you don't need to say I'm upset, just show that you're upset, I've talked about the editing technique now that is working, we still have the traditional, cut, fade to whatnot, but we have new stuffs that are there now. People are doing match cuts. I think it's been there for some time. I think now, as Zambians, we are getting to incorporate things like match cuts, L cuts, we've got all these techniques that are working, so long as they are, amplifying and helping the story. That is very key. Also, in terms of directing, I think we also need to adapt, these new techniques, like why are you dolling in, why are you, dolling out, why are you doing a Dutch shot? Because, there are certain scenes that you do certain things, and not just because I saw it in Paul Wilo's film, and it must, in as much as we are trying to include these new techniques and being all creative, I need to do a technique or a style on something that is going to work. It's not just because there was a match cut in that movie, there was a a Dutch shot, so let me also do a Dutch shot to show that I can do it. I think in as much as we are getting new, we are being new and using these techniques, they should work for us, not be like, oh, okay, so it's very important. And I think we've talked about almost everything, and the most important thing is that as we engage and use these new techniques that we've talked about, let us also ensure that they enhance storytelling. And it's really, really important that we keep learning, because art is a process of becoming, and just because we are here, it's not like we know everything, but we are learning. And I'm really, really happy that we exchanged, and a lot of you talked about important things. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Is this working? I love the fact that it was more of interactive. That's good. I think one thing that I have learned so far is that you never know everything in the film industry. It's a continuous learning process. Every day you learn new things. You probably would look at your production and like, oh my God, that was a mess, and you go to the next, and still every day is a learning opportunity. So as we wind up, I would just like to also just invite you guys to watch the movie from Zimbabwe. What time is it screening? 6? New Metro Cinema. What's the title again? Ngoda. It's a beautiful story by Joe. I think Joe is one of the most... I've seen his productions. I think he's been here. 20 years is not a joke, guys. Let's go and support the Zimbabwean production at New Metro, and let's have fun and just support African content. Thank you very much, guys, for this workshop. I can go. We can go.
Thank you very much.